Why children's ministries? For me, it was an absolute surprise. I actually didn't enjoy kids. As a teenager and growing up, I didn't babysit, I didn't collect children's books. My friends who wanted to be elementary teachers, school teachers, I didn't understand and actually didn't appreciate it. I was heading towards ministry or being a therapist, whatever, but it was focused more towards teens, college age, adults, and when people could actually make decisions that changed their lives. And then one summer I had the opportunity to take the summer and work in a youth ministry, and I knew I was getting this job. I was so excited, and it fell through at the last minute. And I ended up taking the second choice. I had been offered to go back to my home church, Garden Grove Community Church, Crystal Cathedral, and be a summer intern. I did not want to do this. And yet, all of a sudden I didn't have a job for the summer, and so I went down and to just do it, to serve Jesus in this way that I did not want to do. It was the hardest summer of my life. I cried, I was lonely, it was awful. And I knew I was in my sweet spot. Summer, I did my first Blue Box. I didn't know I was doing one. I did not know I was going to be speaking to kids. I was sitting with the kids at campfire. I had taken them to camp because they send 19-year-olds with 80 kids on a school bus up to camp in those days. And for the big crescendo evening, they had brought in a big speaker, and on his way up to the mountain, he got a flat tire, had hitchhiked to a gas station, figured out how to call the camp and tell him he was not going to be making it that night. So the guitar player just kind of came between songs and said, "We're going to sing one last song. The speaker's not coming. If you want to say anything to your kids, do." And, but just not at me during the last verse of the song. So we sang this song, and God just said, "You're supposed to do it, and this is what you're supposed to say." And he gave me a story from when I was a preschooler. And I told that story, and I knew at the end that I had said what God had wanted me to say. It was an incredible moment. That night, after campfire, there were about 150 kids at this camp. There was a long line during cocoa at the lodge. A long line of kids wanted to talk to me about what I had said. It was just this amazing experience. And I said to my dad that winter, and it was just the two of us in the car, and I said, "Dad, I think I'm supposed to do children's ministries." And he pulled over right by Sandpoint and just said, "Jane, I think that's a perfect fit." And he had never said anything that strong before, but it was a perfect fit. He knew of my creative spirit and my artistic bent and my love for fun and joy. And also teaching, proclaiming the word. For me, it just combines how God made me. And to get to preach his word to children. And no longer do I see it as, it's not a time when people make significant decisions. It's when you establish a relationship, a foundation, a worldview that sets the tone for their entire life. Everything else feels to me remedial. This is when kids are the time that they are most open to truth, very naturally, very organically, very spirit built and formed in their lives for the rest of their lives. So many decisions are made just in how kids choose to live as they follow their parents. It is prime time. I've heard so many people give statistics of how many people become Christians before the age of 15 or before the age of 18. It's definitely the majority. We need to be paying attention to that in the church. We need to be paying attention and not losing people who make a very, very vital decision in their love for Jesus to follow him